Hello everyone, and welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars. It's great to have you here. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe so you never miss the latest from Turkish showbiz. Tonight's story shook the entertainment world with a quiet moment that said more than any headline ever could. What happened wasn't planned for cameras, wasn't staged for publicity, and yet it became the most talked about whisper of the year. At the center of it all were two names the world knows far too well: Demet Özdemir and Kenan. For weeks, Demet had been working through a private storm. Sources close to her say she'd been dealing with persistent pain that she decided to keep hidden, even from colleagues on set. She didn't want to halt a project, didn't want fans to worry, didn't want speculation to define her days. So she did what she always does, smiled, showed up, and gave everything to her work. But behind that professionalism, the pain didn't let go. After quiet consultations, she scheduled a delicate procedure at a discreet private clinic in Istanbul. No flashy entrances, no production vans lurking outside, just a small circle of trust and a plan to get through it without the world turning it into a circus. On the day of the surgery, she arrived with her mother, her assistant, and a couple of close friends who know how to hold her together when the lights go down. There were no brand placements, no matching outfits, no leaks to the press ahead of time. The clinic kept the details locked down. Her team checked every entry point, every corridor, ensuring that even the air felt private. She didn't want any noise. She wanted to get through it, quietly. But fate, as always, had other plans. The operation itself went smoothly, according to the medical staff. It was careful, precise, and necessary. She'd insisted on keeping it under wraps so it wouldn't overshadow her commitments. And yet, it was the moment after the surgery, the one where the anesthesia wears off and the heart speaks before the brain catches up, that set everything in motion. Witnesses say that as her lashes fluttered and her voice returned in a grainy whisper, she didn't ask for water, or for her phone, or even for her mother. The first name she breathed out, barely there and yet undeniable, was Kenan. No cameras caught it. No one posed. But the room froze. Nurses exchanged glances. A doctor stepped back, stunned at how focused she was on a single name. She was still hooked up to monitors, still fighting the fog of anesthesia, and yet her priority was crystal clear. She wanted him to know she was okay, and, on some deeper level that no press statement could capture, she wanted him near. Whether they were together or not no longer mattered in that moment. Whatever the world thought suddenly felt small next to the gravity of a single word from her heart. Her mother was shaken, moved, and quiet. Those who saw it say the emotion on her face was something between surprise and recognition, the kind of understanding that comes only when you watch your child drop every guard without meaning to. People around Demet have long known how carefully she manages her public image, strong, focused, independent. And she is all of that. But love, or whatever you want to call it when someone lives in your chest like a bell, can't be hidden in a hospital room at dawn. Word didn't leak right away. For a few hours, the moment belonged to the walls of that clinic. But in this industry, silence has a way of turning into thunder. A staffer told a friend in confidence. That friend told someone else. Soon, a rumor turned into a headline. After a delicate surgery, Demet Özdemir had asked to see just one person, and it wasn't a family member or a doctor, it was Kenan. From the first push notification, the internet caught fire. Talk shows began circling. Fan pages across Turkey, Italy, Spain, Brazil, Mexico, and Chile started threading the story into timelines that had already been primed with years of speculation, on-screen chemistry, and whispers of private tenderness. Was this a sign of reconciliation? Had their connection never really faded? Was distance only a chapter, not the ending? In the hours that followed, social media wasn't just reacting, it was choosing sides, writing essays, turning old clips into evidence, and embarking on a collective detective story that felt half romance, half urban legend. Meanwhile, somewhere else in Istanbul, Ken was working. According to insiders, he was in the middle of a rehearsal when the message reached him. The people who saw his face in that instant say the shock was real, eyes sharpening, posture changing, everything in him pivoting at once. He didn't grandstand. He didn't make calls for the cameras. He simply left. Urgency overrode distance, and every barrier that had felt impossible even a week before suddenly meant nothing. The clinic had already ramped up security by then. They were expecting attention, if not that soon, then inevitably. Guards were posted at entrances. Lobbies were cleared of anyone who didn't have clearance. Phones were tucked away. The staff moved with a choreography that comes from experience: protect the patient, shield the moment, let the heart play out without the world watching like it's the finale of a show. There are no photos of what happened in that room. That's what makes it louder, somehow. All we have are the quiet details people can't help sharing, the way the machines hummed. The soft, low conversation that sounded nothing like a press junket, the stillness that only two people who have lived inside each other's headlines can understand. As the anesthesia fog thinned, Demet asked again, and this time it wasn't a whisper. She wanted Kenan to know she was awake. She wanted him to know she'd made it through. And if the world insists on calling that nostalgia or weakness or strategy, let it be all of those things and none. What mattered to her was simple, human, and piercing. Public memory is powerful. Everyone remembers the tension, the distance, the "are they, aren't they" debates that turn into background noise until a new project gives people something else to obsess over. But when this story broke, the energy shifted. It wasn't about PR. It wasn't about roles or trailers or 6-second clips meant to be dissected. It was about what happens when the guard drops and the truth slips out dressed as a single name. Suddenly, the narrative wasn't about two stars navigating separate lanes. It was about a bond that had refused to dim no matter how many times the world tried to turn off the lights. Producers called their teams. Journalists wrote drafts, scrapped them, wrote new ones, then waited for confirmation that never came. Fans in Europe quoted lines from old interviews, little jokes, shy smiles, the kind of chemistry you can't manufacture even with perfect lighting. Latin American fan accounts posted long threads tracking every moment of their journey, turning the story into a global chorus of "we always knew." And somewhere between sentiment and spectacle, the truth kept its quiet dignity in that room with no cameras. Those who know can say the guilt on his face wasn't drama. It was the weight of time, of work, of nights when calls went unanswered because pride or stubbornness seemed like better armor than honesty. The urgency wasn't about optics. It was about answering a message that came from the center of a person he could never fully walk away from. He wasn't looking for a headline. He was looking for proof she was okay. And maybe, too, for proof that the thing between them hadn't vanished. When he arrived, the security measures held. No one snapped a photo. No one sold a grainy video to the highest bidder. The moment stayed pure in a world that doesn't know how to leave anything untouched. By evening, the discussion had evolved. Some said it was a reconciliation. Others called it closure. Many insisted it was a reminder that two people can exist both inside a myth and outside it, fighting for privacy in a business that eats privacy for breakfast. The clinic declined to comment. Her team stayed silent. His team kept phones dark. And yet the silence roared. It told a story of its own, that some connections don't require confirmation to be believed. The emotional aftershock rippled through the industry. A casting director whispered that this could change everything, how they're seen on screen, how audiences read every glance. A stylist admitted that even she got goosebumps hearing the story, not because of the spectacle, but because it felt honest in a way most showbiz stories don't. Two people, once so in sync it seemed unreal, separated by schedules, continents, expectations, and then, in a small white room lit by monitors, pulled back into alignment by a name uttered without fear. In the days that followed, fans kept vigil online. They sent messages not asking for proof, but hoping for peace. They resurfaced clips not to claim victory, but to remember why they believed in the first place. If you listened closely, the conversation matured. It moved from, "Are they back?" to, "Are they okay?" And that, perhaps, is the most profound shift of all. What cannot be denied is this: Demet's priority after surgery was singular and unwavering. She wanted Kenan. Not an entourage, not a statement, not an angle. Just him. And whether that means they have quietly rebuilt something or simply honored a bond that never broke is theirs to define. But the gesture, the moment she called his name when she had no reason to perform, rewrote public perception in a heartbeat. It reminded everyone that behind the press releases, behind the photo shoots and premieres and calculated interviews, there are human beings who sometimes reach for each other when it matters most. The media, of course, spun it into a frenzy. It's what the media does. But underneath the noise was a rare, gentle truth. That even after distance, after rumors, after the world insisted on choosing chapters for them, something in her reached out to something in him, and they met in the space between who they are and who they're expected to be. No one knows where this leads. Maybe it's a beginning. Maybe it's a bridge. Maybe it's a promise to be kinder to each other in a world that isn't kind. But for once, the last word didn't belong to a headline. It belonged to a heartbeat. As always, we'll keep watching with respect, not intrusion. If they choose to share more, we'll be here to listen. If they don't, we'll honor what this already was, a moment that cut through spectacle and found something real. Like this video and subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars for updates you can trust, stories told with care, and a window into the moments that matter beyond the noise. Until next time, take care and stay tuned.